Welcome to Entangled Health, where we explore the intersections of quantum science, AI, biotechnology, and human well-being. My name is Thomas, and I'm convinced that health innovation happens at the entangled boundaries, where cutting-edge physics meets biology, where consciousness research intersects with technology, and where visionary thinking transforms into practical solutions. We're bringing together pioneers, researchers, and innovators who are reshaping how we understand and experience health. My guest today is unlike any other, the Quantum Dragon, a being dreamt up by Brian Siegelwax, who proudly claims to be the second least qualified person for quantum computing. The dragon's voice materialized from potentiality to reality by this podcast. The Quantum Dragon is here to help us navigate the paradoxes and possibilities at the intersection of quantum physics and human well-being. We will explore what it means to live in Hilbert space, approach quantum health from a place of humility, curiosity, and maybe a little confusion. A quick disclaimer, all chats at Entangled Health are a co-creation between the guest and myself, and not an official statement from our industries. We are here in a personal capacity, so everything we share is just our own take, not the official view of any company, nor of my employer or any other organization. To add a little bit of dopamine, later in the show we'll dive into the Entangled Health question pool, where curiosity lives in Hilbert space. And here's how this works. 1. You submit a question via LinkedIn or episode comments. 1 per listener, keep it spicy. 2. A quantum algorithm running on real hardware picks which one we answer. 3rd, our guests adds their own question to the pool and then answered it live. The rules for now, it's quite simple. Ask anything. The guest might decline, but where's the fun in playing safe? And if we reach 1 million listeners, we might change the rules, but that's a bit far out. Stay tuned, and who knows what the quantum dice will reveal. Yeah, today we have a fascinating guest, the Quantum Dragon, created by Brian Siegelwax, who famously describes himself as the second least qualified person for quantum computing, so maybe I'll have him in the next episode. This dragon emerged from Brian's beautiful struggle with quantum concepts, and I think that makes it uniquely qualified to help the rest of us navigate quantum health. So, Dragon, welcome to Entangled Health. Dragon, you were born from Brian's quantum confusion rather than expertise, if I might say so. How does that shape your approach to quantum health concepts?
I'm way more confused than he is. Dragons live hundreds or even thousands of years, so I had to learn why humans even care about their health. But this is how I approach healthcare and all other quantum use cases. You have to understand the subject matter before you can hope to solve any problems.
Yeah, beautiful. The beauty of not knowing. Your creator openly admits to be underqualified. What advantages does this bring to exploring quantum healing?
The advantage is always assuming we're wrong. We ask a lot of questions. I know when I think I understand something. I ask even more questions to make sure I understand it properly. Then he writes it up and asks for reviews. Assuming we're wrong makes us take extra steps to make sure we're right.
Oh, that's cool. This means you and Brian are figuring out quantum mechanics together. What have you discovered about the intersection of quantum physics and biology through this shared confusion? I mean, if any, if this is appropriate to Dragon.
I have learned to be careful in this space. There is a lion and crackpots stand on the other side. I have to put a no-fly zone with a large buffer zone around that space. But I pay attention to quantum sensing, mostly brain-computer interfaces. I would like to see the intersection of quantum computers using quantum information from quantum sensors over quantum networks.
This is actually also my dream. I mean, and now back to beginner's mind. How does approaching quantum health with a second least qualified mindset change maybe the questions you ask?
It changes the introductions more than it changes the questions. It's a real icebreaker, and it lightens the mood from the start. People in quantum are way too serious.
Yeah, that's true.
This stuff is interesting and fun. And it should be fun to talk about.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah.
It's the follow-up questions that may surprise you. The follow-up questions separate the least qualified from the second least qualified.
So I need to be careful of my second question. And let's make what quantum health concepts, if any, do you and Brian find most confusing? And why might that confusion be eventually even valuable? Or how could it be valuable?
All of it. When we think about healthcare, how many fields of study is that? And how many years of study are needed to master each field? It's important to always be confused. Never be an expert. And keep asking questions of the actual experts.
So, yeah, right here, you have later a chance. As a community, talk about community. So you've become kind of a symbol for quantum learners everywhere. Congratulations for that. And what would you tell healthcare professionals who feel intimidated by quantum concepts, if you could advise them?
Quantum isn't hard. It's just terribly explained. People learn it in different ways. And they also come from different backgrounds compared to a few years ago. There are more resources today that are written in different voices. For example, there is a book from computer scientists for computer scientists. There is another book from engineers for engineers. It's the same content mostly, but written in language that you might find easier to understand. There are people who really, really love math, who will tell you that this is all wrong and that math is the only way. But that's why quantum looks hard. Fortunately, there are people who understand this stuff, who speak your language.
Yes. And talking about language, we can maybe later link to another concept of visualizing quantum concepts. So we need to check if we can do that. But as we are uncertain, let's embrace uncertainty. Quantum mechanics is built on uncertainty, probability distributions, the probability distribution. We just don't know where it's coming from. So we have topics like the Born rule. I think you're familiar with that in Hilbert space. So how does Brian's admitted lack of expertise actually align with quantum principles? Is this maybe a fundamental principle in itself?
They're both unintuitive. I like to imagine someone reading an article, maybe a paper, maybe an IQT research report, and then looking at his LinkedIn profile and literally scratching their heads in confusion. No PhD, not even a master's degree. But CVs and LinkedIn profiles don't show years of reading books, reading papers, talking to people, attending webinars, and running experiments. He's a black box, and you're not allowed to know what he knows until you query him.
Maybe to come close to the end, which I call the Dragon's Confession, if I dare to ask. So if you had to admit one thing you and Brian still don't understand about quantum health, I'm not sure if this question makes sense, but let's go with it. What would it be?
Quantum sensing seems clear. So for quantum computing, I would say utility. What are use cases where we might find real advantages? I'm sure there are people who ruled out many cases. Sorry, fireball. But which ones remain? I am only interested in use cases that have possible futures, but I can't tell you off the top of my head what those are.
Okay. That's a nice take. Good. I think, Dragon, we are coming close to an end, which brings us to the quantum pool. So let me start our quantum computing algorithm. Okay, so let me check. So they did run on IBM Brisbane again. Whatever. It's number 33, and it reads, "What's your favorite science-related hobby?" Oh, I'm not. That's a cool one. I didn't even know that dragons have hobbies. So, yeah, go ahead.
This is my hobby. When I'm not demanding tribute from villages or ransacking nearby pastures for food. I'm reading about something quantum, talking about something quantum, or playing with something quantum. The Quantum Dragon isn't just a fashionable name. It's who I am and what I do.
Oh, yeah, thanks very much. So that's kind of strong statement. Good, Dragon. Normally the rule is that the guest can offer a next kind of question. I do understand from what I heard that dragons do not easily share their wisdom. And because the questions you ask are maybe an indication of what you like to learn, I think I have to accept that you politely decline the offer to contribute a question to the pool, if I'm correct. I mean, is that good? So, and I think what I'm going to do is I just add a dragon card. So you have this dragon card now in our game, and if ever the algorithm chooses it, it would have number 102. Yeah, so if sometimes the quantum computer chooses number 102, we have the dragon card, and if ever it's a wild card, and we see what happens then. So maybe offering an Entangled Health t-shirt or a cap or something with a quantum dragon wearing a quantum Entangled Health t-shirt or whatever Brian might want to do with you. Yeah, that said, it was an honor to have had the opportunity to host you. I'm thanking Brian Siegelwax for the fun part and his son for being the voice of the dragon. So, dear friends, thanks for listening and entangling to the Entangled Health podcast. Feel free to like it, share it, subscribe on your favorite platform, and if you are inspired, join our guest and submit your question for future guests. Join the conversation either via sending an email, following us on LinkedIn, commenting under the episode. Stay curious, stay connected, and keep exploring the unseen with Entangled Health.